show me yours. Where failure speaks volumes. Jason and Rick getting real, drop brutal business truths. No sugar coated, only raw lessons shared. Tuning out on your mistakes, show me yours.
Hello and welcome to Show Me Yours. We took a little bit of a hiatus, Jason.
We did. We took a couple weeks off. We launched the new brand of Savvion. Had a ton of exciting things going on around here. So, yeah, a little bit of a break, but we're back.
We're back. Actually, this is our very first recording where we can say the name Savvion.
Exactly. Savvion. After not being able to say it for months, it's the only thing.
For a year, we came up with the name Savvion a year ago today.
That's true.
A year ago today was a shit show. Mm-hmm. It was. The hurricane hit my house. You started. Yeah. This is Jason's 1 year work anniversary.
Yes.
Congratulations.
And we came up with the name Savvion.
Yeah.
So momentous occasion. And here to celebrate this momentous occasion is my dear and delightful friend, confidant, and I don't know, general badassery, lift you up, champion cheerleader, Rebecca Moore.
Thank you.
Rebecca. Did you know this, Jason? Rebecca is probably, I think by now, our oldest client. Maybe
no kidding,
one
really?
or two other clients.
I feel privileged.
Who beat you? But
Thank
there's
you.
not many. There's not many from like the old days, like when we first started HR branches, like way back. We've been working together. I think we picked up the Kaaum account 2018, 2019.
I was going to say there.
Yeah.
In that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we have been supporting you and your team and have had the pleasure of watching you guys grow. I think when we started working with you guys, you had maybe 20?
Probably.
Maybe 20 employees. How many employees are you up to now?
That requires me to count.
Math.
And I'm thinking, oh goodness. I know we're definitely well over 120.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's just been exponential growth.
It has been.
Yeah.
And it's been so beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing.
It really is. I mean, especially with the organization, you in the leadership role and, you know, James there by your side and watching you grow and develop your leadership team has been just so inspiring for not just me, but for I think our whole entire team to watch and just champion you and I don't know, just be kind of like your little sidekicks as you just kick ass.
You guys have been such a huge support system to us. And honestly, it's been a journey. It really has. And we've had bumps in the road, which I think everybody should have in order to learn and grow effectively. Yeah. So you got to kind of game plan that it's going to be fun and a little interesting and a little quirky from time to time to make it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's my favorite thing about Rebecca and her team is they're probably the most vulnerable, open team in all of the land. Like you guys deal with really hard business. You guys have a really tough business model, both, you know, I mean, structurally it's a tough business model, which we'll probably get into, but also the heaviness of what your team carries and how you guys all rally around each other and just lift each other up and care for each other just at that core level. And it's all built through trust and vulnerability and being who you are and saying, yeah, you're welcome to come in and bring who you are to the table and we're going to celebrate you.
That's what we want. We want people to feel comfortable and honest and open and understand that life is a series of ups and downs and you have our support.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what Kaaum does, kind of clue everybody in that doesn't know.
How gracious. We're a program approved service agency. So we're Medicaid providers for adults and children as well that have developmental and intellectual disabilities. And so we're with the Medicaid provider, that means that Medicaid actually pays us directly to do this. It's based off of primarily a waiver system with Medicaid, which is definitely one of those things that has been up for grabs as far as different funding. Currently, it's been a hot topic, but it is such a wonderful, wonderful community that we work with. We're just very, very blessed. So we do residential placement, we do community activities, job coaching and supported employment. It's a good thing. Like, it's a lot of fun. So we get to be involved in the day-to-day.
Which is amazing. I mean, you really, at the core of it, you take adults and children with developmental disabilities and give them an opportunity to experience life at its fullest.
Absolutely.
Which,
However that looks for them.
yeah.
It doesn't have to look like you and I would want. It doesn't have to be traditional. It doesn't have to be something that we've kind of been programmed that people have to act a certain way. Whatever works best for them is what we want for them.
Yeah. Without violating HIPAA, tell us about your most favorite client story.
Oh, goodness. That's a hard one. That is a real hard one. I mean, I can tell you, I have favorite stories that end in success. I have favorite stories that end in the tragedy. I have favorite stories everywhere in between. But I would honestly say that my son is my favorite story.
Oh, of course.
He's so much fun. And he's definitely one of the impetus of why we even started Kaaum. And just to see him thriving for the past 3 years since he's been in a host home with a very dear friend of ours, and how he's grown and how much he's able to do now in comparison to what he did when he was living at home with parents, because you're going to operate differently when you're with parents versus when you're not. I think that's been very, very, very comforting to us to know that we have that. We built a model that we can see that immediate success in our own family.
I think that's incredible that he was able to, you trusted enough for him to go and live in someone else's home and experience adulthood on his own terms.
Yes.
And just imagine, I'm sure you've seen it, just that strength and that confidence that he's gained.
Well, he wanted to be like his brothers and his sisters and just be able to go out and explore and be an adult as much as he was capable of doing. That is a big deal, like not to have that dependency on your parents. And it's scary as a parent, especially one that has a child that has a diagnosis, to let that go. But the one thing that both James and I know personally is that life is not forever. We will pass one day, and hopefully before our kids do. And with that being said, we want them to have the skills and the ability and the strength and support network to be able to move forward without us, at least our physical presence. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
And you're doing it for your son. Actually, all your kids.
Thank you.
You are.
I am. I'm trying.
And tell us a little bit, how long have you been doing this? I know we've been supporting you guys since 18, but when did Kaaum get started?
2014.
Okay. So you guys, over a decade of doing this work.
Yes.
And after a decade, you're now at 120 employees. Pretty crazy growth-ish, right? We'll throw the ish out there.
Who's counting?
We're not counting.
Right? That's a lot.
You pass 100 and you're like, I'm done counting.
Yeah, definitely over 100. We definitely over 100.
Yeah. So, I mean, that just even that arc is a lot of just effort and pushing and building and business processes and systems and so much learning in that. Is Kaaum the main thing that you have done from a business perspective? Are there other kind of projects or things that you've been involved with as well?
Definitely other projects and things that we've been involved with for sure. Kaaum has been the main support system for us. Not only has it been a business that has thrived and been able to move forward throughout the years and that we've really been able to fall back on, but it's given us the freedom to also explore other avenues that we're interested in. And I think that's been a wonderful opportunity for us as individuals, both my husband and I, to explore other things. But honestly, Kaaum is really our heart.
Yeah.
It really is.
But you guys do have other ventures.
We do. We do.
Like
Little
cupcakes.
project.
I mean, I was teeing that up. I've had some of the best cupcakes from you time and again. That
glad
just
you've enjoyed
blow
them.
my
Good.
mind.
Yeah,
So,
icing on the cake is definitely one of the ones that I really love. So that's the bakery. And then we also have Tangent Organics, which is my husband's side venture of basically recreational marijuana grow. And that is going to come to an end in the near future so that we can keep expanding Kaaum, but at the same time, just having the opportunity for him to go explore that.
Yeah.
I think that's a big deal. You need to have that growth, that individual growth, in order to find what you like, what you love.
Yeah. I know
Say
James
you
turned
did it.
into Farmer James for a few years. That was amazing.
It was so cute in the camo and his little Carhartt. It was adorable.
I imagine overalls. Please tell me he wore overalls.
Absolutely. Are you kidding? You got to have overalls if you're a farmer. That's just a thing. So,
I love it.
It was cute.
That's fun. So a little bit of serial entrepreneurism as well, kind of in there of what you guys have been doing on that front, which is
And we're always on the
exciting.
hunt for something else. Like if there is something else that we want to look into, we're always tossing around ideas about different business ventures, but we come back to Kaaum over and over again because we love it.
Do you guys have a business venture book?
No, but that's
Brian,
a great idea. I didn't know that was a thing.
Brian and I have a business venture notebook where one of our favorite pastimes during the summer is sitting out on our back patio and we just talk about the what if, and it always leads to different business ventures, you know?
Yeah.
And so we have this notebook of all of these different business venture ideas of like, okay, well, when it comes time to figure out the next, what is the next? So we've got a whole list of different, I mean, it's everything from like RV storage to
thought of
an
that.
ice cream shop.
We have thought of that. Oh my goodness. We thought of bars. We thought
Yes.
of liquor stores. We thought of, oh my goodness, we actually did rabbit hole, go down this idea. And we were really close to actually pulling the trigger on it of a FedEx route. Like not just the route, but like the hub.
Yeah.
And so we
Really?
wanted that for a while. And then, oh gracious, we've invested in a few different things too. A lot of them have been cannabis related, but we're in Colorado.
Brian
So
and I
it's definitely a thing.
Brian and I looked at buying a motel out in what is it? Not Sedalia. It's
Salida?
Not Salida. It's out east.
Okay.
East.
East.
Simla. Yeah.
I don't even know where that's at.
Right.
It's out
Yeah.
east, like past Falcon
Okay.
and all of that. It's in the middle of nowhere. There was this little motel that was for sale, and we thought about actually purchasing that. And then we quickly realized that sounds like a pain in the ass.
Doesn't it though? I mean, who's going to manage that?
Just the dirty sheets alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm good.
Now I see why they don't change them often. Just kidding. And you wonder why we get bed bugs, not us.
Right.
I
Yes.
promise I have yet to
I
deal
know
with
it's
that
a
in my
long
life.
trip to change out 20 beds.
Could you
right?
imagine? Ugh, yuck, yuck, yuck. But
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, what do you say
Shift
we
it over.
transition over to
Okay.
our third host, as Jason explained before we got on camera. This is our third host. This is the Show Me Yours bucket.
Oh, I
All
like
right.
a bucket
here.
of show me yours.
Yes, exactly. Me too.
Sorry,
So
just count that.
essentially is you're going to pull out a question and we're going to have a conversation about it. It's not just going to be Rebecca answering the question
Okay.
and, you know, everything. We're going to have a full-on conversation about it. And
like this.
if you pass on a question, which it may not be relevant or you may not just want to answer it, that's okay. You're more than welcome to pass. But 2 passes,
I got to
that
sing
third,
the song.
you got to sing the song.
Okay. We're
All
not.
right.
We're gonna try not to sing the song.
I don't know. We've already got your song picked out. So, you know, we're
yeah, we
halfway
do.
there.
Gracious. Okay, I'm gonna answer whatever I get at this point. So I get to pick it out.
You do.
You
Okay.
get to pick it out.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's
No pressure. Pick the perfect one.
Okay. I want one. What do we got? What do we got? Doodly-doo. Okay, this is a fun one. If you could give your biggest competitor one honest compliment, what would it be? And what's one thing you would tell them to change? Okay. Well, I'm not going to name who
That's
I
great.
think our
Yeah.
biggest competitor is because I don't think that's polite. But I would definitely say that if I was to give them a compliment, I really want to thank them for the model that they had for their day program, because that is really what we modeled our original day program after. And really great, really excellent, very solid model of inclusivity and ensuring that people are active and getting out there and having fun and incorporating people that do have a diagnosis into the community. Excellent job at that. I'm so happy that we had an agency that we could look at and say, that's what we want to do. So there was somebody out there that was doing something
Yeah.
really, really good that we would have been happy to even put our own son into at the time if he had been old enough.
Yeah.
As the years have changed, have gone by. I mean, it's been 10 years, 11 years now that we've been in business, and I was to make any kind of suggestion to them, I would say that you might want to consider your leadership. that is one thing that I've had to take a very strong look at over the years as far as leadership and how we're doing this and how plastic are they? How willing are they to change? Be willing to change and adjust. And sometimes
So true.
that really has to start with your leadership. And that's pretty much what I would give them, is just keep an eye out on that. Currently, one of the things that I've noticed about one of the people in leadership for that particular competitor is, at least in my opinion, a need for external validation when we are in public settings in the same place. And I don't think that that doesn't show confidence. And so I think that showing that confidence, having the confidence to be a little bit different and stretch, I think is very, very important. And I think that keeps people going and sustains your team.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, that shifting, especially in what you guys do, it's not a plug and play environment. There's constant changes. There's constant evolution, and the human element. I mean, every person you serve is very different from the next.
Absolutely.
And so
Thank
one
goodness.
size, yeah, right. One size does not fit all.
No.
So being able to shift and adapt, and you're right. We've talked about this so many times privately. When it comes to leadership, you set the culture, you set the tone.
Yes.
So if leadership's not willing to change and evolve and adapt and move with the moment and the time and the needs, then it's just going to go so stagnant.
I agree.
Wow.
I agree.
So in that vein, I'm curious, how have you as a leader grown and evolved? Like, what have you learned, or what practices do you bring to yourself to kind of have that nimble ability to shift and change?
Constant personal growth. Constant personal growth. I think that's a hallmark of something that I've had to, not even had to, I wanted to incorporate into my own life and make sure that I was learning everything I could about leadership, about people, about human behavior. What are the changes? Science and theoretical behavioral construct is changing constantly. I think that it's really important to keep up with that and understand, why do people act the way they do? Why do I act the way I do? And really be introspective. I take things personally to the extent that I always think, what could I have done differently in order to have a different outcome, or the desired outcome if I didn't get that? I really want everyone to take ownership over their actions, but understand, just like, and I pull from being a parent quite a bit. And I've told my kids, if you tell me the truth the first time, I may not be happy with it, but I would really appreciate knowing the truth first. And instead of hearing the story that you fabricated and then hearing the truth after the fact, because that's just going to compound and make it more difficult for me to help you. That's what I want from them. If you make a mistake, it's okay. We all do. I make mistakes constantly. Let's see what we can do to fix it. What can we do to help? It has to be about that. It has to be about leading by example. It has to be about loving people through the hard stuff.
I'm always curious about this because I love it. I think a lot of leaders and people that listen in are very kind of, I think we're all in that kind of journey of how are we growing and evolving. What have you found that's been really supportive to your personal growth within the last few years? Like, is there anything that's kind of emerged or something that you've invested in that's really kind of pushed you into that in some deeper ways, or something that you really like around personal growth?
Wow, there's a combination of so many different things. Oh, gracious. Hopefully I'm going to get these names right. Robert Greene, his books have been incredible. He does 48 Laws of Power, Art of Seduction. Oh, goodness, there's so many. The books that he's done, I think, have really spoken to me, and that's where I started. And then I kind of evolved from there. And gracious me, what is the one that really spoke to my heart? It was in regards to Adlerian psychology, and it was The Courage to Be Disliked.
Oh.
If you have not read that,
I need to read that.
You've got to read it. It is, to me, it was a game changer. I think that after reading everything else that I read, when I read that, it just started to click a lot faster. There comes with Adlerian psychology the construct of either playing like the victim and the hero and the villain, and how we kind of subscribe to these different roles when we really don't have to. I mean, playing one or the other, or that we have to be any of the three, is ridiculous. Like, there's so many different areas in between.
It's just a label.
It's just a label. We do love labels as humans, don't we?
We do.
Yes, we do. Makes things easier on some levels.
And then the follow-up is the courage to be happy. You know how many people in life don't want to be happy? They're so comfortable in chaos and misery. It's amazing.
Yes.
That's why I have my
It's so
career.
amazing. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Human behavior.
Yes.
Fascinating stuff.
In addition to that, like just even your own self-development, but you're also growing through getting your MBA right now, which I mean is huge. I remember going through my MBA. It's no easy
No,
feat.
it's no joke.
It's a huge amount of dedication. I could not imagine going through my graduate coursework while running a business. Like there for a little while, I thought about going back to law school, and I was like, no.
Maybe not so much.
I don't know if I had the time or the bandwidth, but here you are. You're growing a successful business, working on your MBA, and then in your spare time, you do these master classes.
Oh, it's so much fun. I love learning.
Yeah.
Like the more I can grow, the better I feel. It also keeps me out of trouble.
It's true. Yeah.
I'm a trouble magnet. I love it. I like to be a little wild. I am a little wild. I think everybody needs to get out there and just kind of shake it off somehow. However that looks for you.
I think trouble leads to an interesting life, if that.
I like stories. I have stories for days.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, goodness. Like if there's something weird,
Yeah.
I've probably done it.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I always tell my kids, normal is boring.
Oh, yeah.
Don't ever try to be normal. Be unique, dynamic. And oftentimes that goes against the grain, which in society's perspective, that's trouble, right? Because it's different.
Yeah.
What did they say? Well-behaved women rarely make history.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I can never be accused of being well-behaved. So I'm okay with
We're
this.
making history.
We're going to make history. I'd rather make history.
Oh, so true. So I want to pull this question back in. For that competition that we were talking about for your greatest competitor, what book would you recommend they read? What book are you going to send them in the mail tomorrow?
Gracious. Okay. I would say Art of Seduction would be a good one.
Okay.
Everything,
Tell me how.
Everything is seduction.
Yeah.
You know, politics would probably be the first thing on my list, because you're seducing an audience to ensure that they're buying into you. Seduction is about finding what people want most in their lives, what their motivation is, and then capitalizing on that, adjusting your strategy and how you handle or communicate or operate with these people or this population or whatever it is that you're handling, and then maneuvering in a way that's going to be conducive to them to get their buy-in. Some people do it naturally, and I promise I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I feel like this is something that I adapted many, many years ago. Just trying to fit in, just trying to, whatever it is, friendships, intimate relationships, whatever it could be. And so I found a lot of parallels in my life to some of the stories that Robert Greene had in his book, The Art of Seduction. And I highly, highly recommend that. I think that in business, it's very, very applicable. It just, you can see getting people's buy-in and trust and gaining their confidence is so important to a successful business.
Oh, goodness, yes. Absolutely.
It also keeps you very self-aware too, because you're monitoring your own behavior in order to mirror or
meet the needs of others.
Meet the needs of others. I was going to say manipulate, and manipulation doesn't have to be a bad thing.
Right.
I mean, we manipulate all kinds of things in life, day to day, in order to make our lives easier or have the outcome that we want. So
It's true. It's true, yeah.
that's what I'd recommend. It's a good one.
That's a great one.
That is a great one. I'm excited to go read it.
You should.
I'm totally intrigued.
Highly recommend.
Have you read it?
I have not read that one, though.
Oh, gracious. Read them all.
All right. Robert
They're all
Greene.
worth it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Let's dive back in. That was a
Okay.
fun one, but let's.
To me again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you.
Okay. I feel like I need a big one. Maybe I need a little one. I went with kind of like a medium size. Let's see. Hey, this is a fun one. This is
Okay.
going to be a story for you. What's the most expensive mistake you've ever made in your business, and what was the ripple effect?
Oh boy.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So we, of course, we do these services for our, specifically with the adult sector. And we had a guy, great guy. We rented a house for him. And in town in Colorado Springs. And his biggest desire was basically to be a free spirit. He just wanted to go around and do his own thing and enjoy whatever substance he was enjoying at the time. Well, he gets into the house, and then he had some friends that were, they didn't have a place to live. They all came in the house, and they decided to essentially cook meth.
Oh, goodness.
Now, here's the fun part. Me, having been a former insurance agent, forgot to get renter's insurance, which I don't think would have done a whole lot of help. But $80,000 later, we are basically paying for an entire home to be gutted and redone. For the homeowner, the person who actually owned the home. Yeah. So note to self, be a lot more conscientious about, the people that are coming in, what's going on, monitoring. He had an awful lot of alone time too.
Yeah.
I think that people avoided him because he was kind of prickly. Things weren't happening the way they were supposed to. And this was years ago, thank goodness. We definitely learned our lesson. But $80,000, that's a huge mistake to make.
That's a big one.
For something that you're never going to get anything out of. I mean, we're never going to recoup that cost. Yeah. And also, get renter's insurance. Just saying. That's the thing.
How long was he in this house?
2 months.
No
Oh my
way.
That's how much damage you can do, because they have to get all of the vents and the furnace and air conditioning, drywall, the insulation. Yeah, because it's so toxic. So I guess first lesson, don't cook meth.
Yeah, that's a good lesson.
In your home.
That's a great one.
Let's try that first. I mean, if you're gonna do that, do it in an open air facility. You're kidding.
Or in an RV like Breaking Bad.
Well, yeah, you can buy an RV for $80,000, a really nice one
Really
too.
nice
Sure,
one.
so.
Yeah. Spend $9,000.
Right.
Totally suitable.
And the Breaking Bad RV was probably $1,000.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I think it was junkyard or
Yeah,
something.
we could just get rid of that and get another one if you really want to do it. So,
Yes.
yeah, that was fun.
So,
Good times.
okay, let's talk about the series of events. So, what prompted you to lease this house for him? And did you have like an interview process, or can you guys drug test your clients?
No.
Is that a thing?
No.
No. Okay, I didn't think so, but I thought I'd throw it out.
No.
Like,
It's a very interesting world that I work in, because while the powers that be require us to treat and operate as if everybody's a fully functioning adult, we also have to put different safeguards in place to understand that there are certain behaviors that need to be monitored and watched out for, a lot of oversight. However, if somebody is their own guardian, because that is something that can be changed. I mean, like, for example, I'm my son's guardian, but that just makes sense because he doesn't have the functioning capacity to understand like medication or financials and things like that. So it starts with that. We start with like, they're their own guardian. They're going to make these choices. We operate like an adult. If they say they don't want you to come see them, we have to honor that and say, okay, even though the state might say you have to visit them every so many hours or days, if they still refuse, like any kind of patient, I guess you could say, because there are borderlines on that healthcare part, even though we're not healthcare,
Right.
yeah.
that we have to be conscientious of that and honor what their request is. We had him in an apartment, and then that transitioned over to the house because we wanted to. It's less expensive for the agency to have other people living with him.
Yeah, I could see that.
So there's more money going into that
Yeah.
location instead of just one person's money going into one location. So we got the house with the intention of having other people living there too. We did have one more person come in that may have made the individual uncomfortable. He made choices. Here we are.
Wow. So how did you discover the meth cooking?
We didn't.
Oh.
We didn't until we tried to get out of the lease.
Oh.
And then when he left, because we're like, comes a point where you have to let somebody go and just be like, hey, we can't fix this anymore. And so we decided to let him move on to a different agency.
Okay.
And then we start looking at the house, realizing that there's some problems. There's that weird smell that I guess is associated with meth. And then the owners came in. They're like, no, this isn't, there's something definitely wrong. They asked us to get it tested, which is about, just so you know, about $5,000 to get a home tested for meth, because they have to take samples of different parts of the home and have that tested in a secure, or like maybe some sort of biohazard kind of
Wow.
comes back positive, and here we are.
Boy.
It's fun.
Wow.
I learned so much.
I'm sure you did.
It was an expensive mistake,
Yeah.
but we learned something, and now I know more than the average human on what happens when you have a meth house.
That's a valuable lesson.
It also goes on a registry, just so you know.
Does it really? The house goes on a registry?
Sure does.
So these poor homeowners now have a house that's on a meth registry.
It goes on a registry, but it also will show if it's been mitigated.
Got you.
So if it's been mitigated and you're cleared, that's good. But I guess there's the red flag, of course, if you're going to leave it that way.
Heck yeah.
Because you can't rent it
Right.
legally.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Good story. I got nothing. Drop the mic. Wow. I'm blown away that
We've
happened.
definitely made mistakes in the past that have been, unique or different, but that's probably the most significant one.
So out of all of that, you can't control humans. You probably had no clue what he was doing, even until to the point that he left. You had no clue to what extent.
No.
So in your mind, what was that mistake?
He needed more oversight and check-ins and just basic human interaction from people that had his best interest in mind than what we were understanding he needed. Even though we'd probably had him for a couple of years prior to that, we needed to step up our game. We needed to do better. We needed renter's insurance. Right. We needed to pay more attention. And you kind of get lazy in business sometimes, thinking no news is good news. It seems like he's doing fine. Whatever it is, everybody needs equal amount of attention. They
One
really
thing I
do.
know about you, it's not lazy. Maybe comfortable, not
Yeah,
lazy.
I
You are
don't- I
not
wouldn't.
lazy.
I don't think I've ever been accused of that a day in my life. But at the same time, there's things that get overlooked
Yeah.
because other things you think are more important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But okay, so regular check-ins, stuff like that, it sounds like you weren't granted that luxury to go in and check on him as you probably would have wanted. He had to pretty much invite you or allow you to come in, right?
We did have a key to the home.
Okay.
And I think that having better providers, which the provider that we did have at the time for him is no longer somebody who contracts with us. So now we know.
Okay.
That's part of the puzzle, that we need to make sure we have somebody who's going to be actively participating in his life too.
Yeah.
And building the rapport with the individual to the extent that they want you to be part of their life, inviting you in. So when you're judging people, it doesn't matter what their intellectual capacity is. People feel judged. They don't, they feel like you're not loving.
Yeah.
And judgment it can come from a place of love. I think it truly can.
But it's still not warm. You don't
it's
want
not
it around.
fun. It's not comfortable. So how you approach people in an appropriate manner and get to their level so that you can be part of their lives and also see these things reporting back, asking for help. I think that was another thing too. The provider didn't really ask for help in what could have been seen earlier. Oh my goodness, I have another story too, but same provider.
Really?
But we won't go down that road.
Okay.
It's a much more recent story too. A little scary.
Wow.
Yeah. Good story.
Thank you.
Renter's
Yeah.
insurance. Actually, insurance as a whole.
It's a thing. Yeah.
It's-
You got to do it.
It's amazing. The hope is that you pay gobs and gobs of money to never use a product. I think that's the only time you make a purchase in hopes of never having to use it. But goodness,
You need
when it's
it.
there, you need it.
Yeah. Well, we've had situations where we've been sued, and that happens, I think, to quite a few business owners. Having insurance really helps. Like,
Absolutely.
kind of
Brian
pays
and
for
I
that.
joke oftentimes that you're not a real business until you've been sued.
I think you might be right.
Is. I mean, really,
I
it's
feel
like,
real.
okay, when you put on your big boy pants is when you get served for the very first suit.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
When we got served for our very first suit, it was like, okay, well, we just put
We're
on
real.
our big boy pants. We just transitioned out of the tidy whities.
It can be painful.
It
It's
is
definitely a
painful.
learning experience, but I really think that is something that if you go through it, you can definitely say when you come out the other side, you're
You
the
learn a
Velveteen
lot.
Rabbit.
It forces a mirror, a
Yeah.
good look in the mirror.
Absolutely.
It forces, whether it's warranted or not warranted, that's irrelevant. It does force you to look at your processes, your documentation, your best practices, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
And oftentimes it's a good reflection. So,
I agree.
Yeah.
Ree, can you think of an expensive mistake you've made?
Yeah.
That was a reflection. I have a good one if you
Yes.
need a moment to think, but
A good one for her.
no,
Oh.
for my mistakes that I've made in the past.
Yeah. For me, it was really taking on the wrong client. It was kind of, similar but different in many regards. This client and eggs in a basket. This client
Yeah.
came to us. We were still supporting, a lot of smaller businesses. And this was a big fish for us, a really, really, really big fish for us. And I probably jumped in to this account way more enthusiastic than I should have. But, being a small business and seeing those type of dollars in front of you
Oh, it's
and also
attractive.
knowing you can do it. Like I knew we could execute with vigor, with excellence, and we were going to knock it out of the park. And quite frankly, that's what our team did. We knocked it out of the park. We gave them exceptional support. We did all the right things, even went over and beyond. But unfortunately, and I think that's kind of where our services find the most misalignment is when it comes to cultural discrepancy, when the leaders don't value employees and best practices and having good structure to their employment practices. And it's a toxic culture. It's just, no matter how many times we have the conversations and try and help, we found ourselves, I know I saw my team. I was in there working with them side by side. We did an exceptional job. But no matter how south their culture went because of their leadership, the finger was pointed at us. And it was constantly, well, you're not doing your job. You're not doing your job. And we're like, we're actually doing our jobs really well. You're just not executing our recommendations. And so eventually I had actually hired an employee to service this account. So it was this employee's salary, and it got so bad. They beat up this employee so bad. I ended up terminating this client mid-contract, and they had paid me up front. And so I had to refund all that money and then absorb the salary for that employee. I would say it was probably about kind of close $80,000 lesson when all was said and done. It was brutal. It took us 3 years to make it all back up and get back out of the red. Like it took us years to make that one up. It was painful. Yeah. So not only did it really hurt the business, but it also, what I think the hardest part is what it did to that employee. Like that team member. It's amazing how much someone else's culture can bleed into yours.
Yeah.
Culture is a big deal.
It is.
It really is. I don't think I really understood culture until you guys came around. And I was
really?
able to kind of pick apart and realize what the problems were, because it's not something that was talked about in any other place of business that I had ever worked. So Kaaum is the first business that I've ever been owner of. Well, co-owner, however you want to do it. But any ownership responsibility, honestly, I'd never managed. I'd never supervised.
Which is common.
Yeah, and here I am doing all of this. And I had to draw from, like I said, parenting, which I think is...
It's similar.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
It is very,
It
very
is.
similar.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But culture's a big deal, and I'm sorry because that had to be painful for you.
It was really painful.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of watching it all implode, and also seeing that client and what they did to their own internal staff. Like, if that's what they did to my team member, their external staff, who was looked at as their reliable expert, you know, their advisor, seeing what they did to their own internal staff was even worse. Because we had to leave that account knowing that we're no longer able to even try to make it a little bit better for those team members. And they were miserable.
Are they still in business?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
too
you won't say who they are,
I
but
gotcha.
they're there.
I gotcha.
Live, and yeah, I see them quite a bit, and it's just sucks. Yeah.
Good luck to them.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll send them the artist seduction.
Do that.
Seduce your team in the right HR manner.
Right.
Maybe we'll pick a different book. Yeah. But okay, Jason, what's yours?
Oh man. So Tiffany and I had just left my job. I was coming in to support her she owned a chiropractic clinic. We just brought on 2 business partners that had been working together, and they'd been working with us for about 6 months. So they were kind of doing that. I leave my job, come in, and now all of a sudden it's like growth time, and we're really going to expand this clinic, and we're going to grow it, and had all these plans. And we realized a lot of that was going to be a second location. So our location was up north across from Chapel Hills Mall, had about 4,000 square feet, a pretty large clinic, especially just being chiropractic, and felt like we needed more for some reason to be able to expand. So we found a location on South Nevada. If you know where that Vasa is at, it's actually just across the street from the Vasa. There was a dentistry office there that had been sitting empty. And we came across it as like a great location, right? I mean, Broadmoor money, all that kind of stuff, did all the market research, really, and there was like no real competition that was around there. It was a pretty ideal location to be able to come into. We had to gut out the entire building. We were going to bring in offices down there as well for some headquarters things, because at the same time, we were also working on a clinic in Las Vegas. So we were going to be like massive expansion, because our partners lived in Las Vegas. We were here. So we were going to be doing this piece. They were going to be growing an office that just bought an office in Las Vegas. So there was 3 locations that we were trying to expand into in about a 3-month process, which is a lot of growth, a lot of expansion, very fast. And so we brought in the investment to start building out this south location. And we got probably 3 months into the process, had them gutting things out, building it exactly the way kind of we wanted from a clinic standpoint, and then found mold halfway through the build. And all of it, and being, you know, a medical clinic, it's like, you know, mold's a thing. But then the landlord came and started fighting us on it and saying that it wasn't a thing, and going back and forth. And it kind of, the whole deal ended up blowing up in our faces, and we ended up losing a lot of money. I mean, maybe not, it was like tens of thousands of dollars. I don't know that we maybe were in the 80s, but it was such a, like, just instant, like, kind of hit the brakes, looking at all this expansion, had these dreams of opening up this second thing, just all died basically overnight whenever that was found, because we weren't able to figure out a solution with the owners, and they weren't willing to put the investment in that they needed because of the type of mold, and and obviously our perspective on mold was a little bit different than their perspective on mold, and so it ended up we had to walk away from the deal. And
were you able to get out of that lease?
We did, but there was some battle there, and we ended up having to pay. I want to say it was like 6 months or something. Part of the lease.
That's not too bad.
It wasn't too bad, but still,
Yeah.
it limited our growth and the investment that we'd made down there compared to being able to reinvest that money and put it back into other things, and definitely stretched us. And so that was an expensive mistake to have to do due diligence on all of that. And just even the time and energy that it, you know, you lose that piece too, right? You think about the money side, but also just the stress and the anxiety and all of the drama that goes into these situations, and the wear and tear that puts on you as a leader, and then what it puts on your team.
The deflation of the dream.
Yes, exactly.
That's painful.
That's all the cost that I think sometimes we don't take into factor, especially when we're trying to grow something, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you're putting your time and energy and your vision in. So, that was a tough lesson.
That is a tough one. Yeah, gosh, just to see it come to a halt and just all of a sudden you're like, oh. So you guys got out of the lease. You guys, stopped.
Yes.
And
basically
that was
stopped
pretty
it.
much and
Yeah, walked away from it. And then I think they came after us. They were trying to battle. And at that point, the people that we had been business partners with basically put the kibosh on it and shut them down. Was like, yeah, we're not doing this.
Good for them.
You can try,
like
but you have no precedence. You have mold.
a good
We're a
thing.
medical clinic. This isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And so once we kind of threw that up, they realized there wasn't much, and they were out money too, right? I mean, as the owners, they had invested some money into the rebuild and everything that we had been wanting to kind of get it up to speed, because it had been like a dentist office from like the 80s. It hadn't been touched. Yeah, it was a little rough.
You gotta wonder why didn't they do preliminary testing prior to even putting it on the market for rent?
Yeah, exactly. Especially with an older building like that.
But sometimes the mold stuff just doesn't get paid attention to in the same way.
Well, I think in this state, because we don't have the levels of humidity that they have in other states, we don't really consider that, but it's still very real.
Yeah.
It is.
So
Yeah, but it's not as prevalent. It's probably more of an afterthought here than it is down, sea level.
Exactly.
Did you have insurance?
Yeah, we did. We did have insurance. Thank goodness.
You're winning.
Yes. Well,
that's a good thing. I don't think there is an insurance though for certain things.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't know that insurance really gave us much support on that front. That was more just our stuff that we had to work through. So.
Yeah, I would have thought like maybe you could have leveraged off a general liability.
Possibly.
But that probably would have been more of the property
We
owner.
tried that too.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Yeah. Right.
No. They were just
Yeah.
out of pocket.
Out of pocket. Woohoo, bye. I know. It's like those moments where you just see the money in the toilet.
Oh, I know. That's the hardest part. It's just the waste of it. All the hard effort of bringing that in and then just watching it disappear.
But that's real life.
Yeah.
It is.
Is making these mistakes and having these stories and the cautionary tales, and hopefully somebody else doesn't go down that road. And then somebody else is going to share their story, and you'll learn from that.
Well, that's exactly the thing. Like everybody sitting here listening today, they're going to take our stories and heat them, but then they're going to make their own story.
Totally.
Exactly.
It's just the inevitable. And as Brian says all the time, he's like, yeah, the numbers just get bigger. The more you grow, the bigger they get.
Oh, yes.
Yes, they do.
And they're scary, but
They can be.
They are.
They can be very daunting.
Yeah. But okay, one more.
Let's do one more.
One more. Okay.
Land the plane.
So did I
Glad
do
we
a
haven't
small
scared you off
one?
yet.
No, it takes a lot, honestly. Or maybe it doesn't. Depends on the day. Let's see what we got.
Oh, you got two there.
Okay. Okay, so this is a fun one. What's the biggest personal fear you had to confront and overcome directly because of your entrepreneurial journey?
Ooh.
That's a hard one to answer.
It is.
Oh, goodness.
It's real. We all have them.
Okay. Like I'd mentioned before, I had never done any kind of managerial or supervisorial position before, and leading people is it's complex. It really is. Not knowing what your capacity is to do that effectively. I thought I could do it. I really did. Like I had this intrinsic belief, I can do this. This is not going to be an issue. I can make everybody happy
Mistake number one.
all the time.
Oh, mistake number two.
I can be the cool boss.
Oh, mistake three.
Right. I can be the cool boss. I can create an environment in which everybody can just be themselves and a little wild, and you
Mistake four.
have to be politically correct. Mistake 5. And we can say what you want to say, be comfortable. Nobody's going to care. Mistake 12. So essentially, I wanted to do everything different than the way I'd been managed and supervised over the years. Yeah. I tried it.
How'd it go?
Sometimes it worked for some people.
Yeah.
Overall, I realized that there's a reason why we have different systems and rules and ethics and morals and mores and norms and whatever you want to call them in place, because they're best practices. There have been people that have come before us who have tried different methodology in management. And to be perfectly honest, There are some that you just listen to the people who have gone before you. Whether or not you take it to heart and you practice it, that's up to you.
Yeah.
But there's something valuable from everyone, even the ones that have failed. And
Especially the ones that have failed. If you haven't failed, I don't really trust you very much.
Oh, and that's so true.
So many failures, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I learned the value of composure, of silence, of listening and not being over the top crazy, not doing what I wanted to do just simply because my name was on the ownership list.
Yeah.
That I am equally as responsible for culture, for ensuring people feel safe and comfortable and appreciated in the appropriate way. Not just because we can curse or tell body jokes, no, you really do have to lead by example. It's a big deal. And as Rihanna knows, I was raised by an HR person. My mother was huge
She's
on
amazing,
HR.
by the way.
And so I knew better. I really did. But I thought, no, it's not going to apply to me. We can be a little crazy. And I think we are. We are definitely, like you said, very transparent, very vulnerable, which I love. And I love that they feel that they can be, and it's a safe place to have that vulnerability. But you also have to have that harmony with the professionalism and bringing your A game.
I feel like that's a little bit of like some parenting energy too. Like when you want to be the
Yes.
cool parent and you like want that, and then you realize, wait a minute,
Absolutely.
I can't always be the cool parent. Like sometimes I have to set the law, sometimes I have to set the culture, then the parameters and the boundaries or whatever it is.
Yep.
And that thread of like wanting to have that type of connection with your kids. And then there's other times where you're like, yeah, no, but I'm also going to be the parent right now. Right? It's such a these things you have to morph in and out of. So
That's so true. I mean, all three of us, I'm sure at some point when we were like teenagers, we're like, yeah, we're going to be the cool parents. We're going to be an awesome parent. And then you grow up and you become parents. And I pride myself on being the mean parent. Right? Like,
That's when you know you're doing your job, right?
yeah, exactly. And I don't mean it to the tune of like I'm constantly scolding or disciplining my kids. But there have been many moments where I have to redirect their behaviors and say, this is not acceptable. This is what you need to do. I have to tell them the word no. And of course, inevitably, that turns into, why you always got to be so mean to me, right? Well, because, sorry, Jason, I didn't mean to step on you. But I think that there's a part of that, too, in leadership as well, is if you're not having those critical conversations and making sure that you're doing the hard stuff, you're doing your team a disservice, really, because the rest of your team is watching too. Right?
I was too fun.
Yeah.
I was too goofy. I was too lackadaisical in my professionalism, and the culture followed suit. And it's taken years for us to get to a point now where I feel like we do have that. We're definitely back on track.
You guys are doing an amazing job.
Sometimes we falter, but that's just natural human behavior. I think that sometimes we're going to be a little bit, lacking on this side of things or too much on this side. Either way, we're definitely going down the right road for that. But like with parenting, I thought, hey, if I do the cool stuff, everybody's going to love me. And I wanted to be liked, and I wanted to be accepted.
Yeah.
Even as the boss.
there's that fear part.
Yes, that's
right? The
exactly
fear,
what
just
it
the
is.
desire to be accepted.
What I wasn't understanding is that it doesn't matter if I'm liked or not. I'm still the boss. I'm still the person that has to be the one that's ultimately responsible for their behavior and how they act and whether or not they do get the job done.
And how they show up, influenced by you, is determining the success of the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
One way or another. Yeah.
So,
And your success is dependent on their success.
and it got out of hand.
Yeah.
When you don't pay attention to how your behavior is coming across to other people, it can get out of hand. And then like you do when you're a parent and you see your child acting foolish and you're like, I used to do that when I was a kid. And you're like, oh, What example did I set? It was really a bad idea. So, and I think it's an HR branches now. Savvion HQ has really helped with that change, and not only recognizing the things that we did need to change, but helping us facilitate that change and get us into the right direction.
It's been a lot of fun.
It has.
It has.
It has. It's been painful sometimes, but for the most part, overall, it's been fun.
Yeah. It always turns out right. It's because you always do the right thing, though. And I think that's the important part. And the vulnerability. Like, you and I have a special relationship. I can't say I have this with every single client, but you and I have this relationship where I can come to the table and be like, damn it, Rebecca.
Yes.
And she's like, yeah, you're right. But you also do it to me too. Like it goes both ways. She's like, okay, Rihanna, you're getting too compliancy on me. We got to get into the gray here.
And we do, because humans aren't black and white. They're every shade, every single shade. And we have to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
And that's what I love, that you embrace. And you challenge me sometimes too.
You definitely have challenged me, because I'm not the black and white kind of person. I really love to see the different colors and the different shades that we have out there. I don't want to ever feel like somebody has to fit a mold. I think the mold should fit the person.
Absolutely. I agree. It's funny because, when you brought up that question, I had the same fear, but in a different way. So my fear was not being liked and not being embraced. But it wasn't necessarily through the tone of leadership, because I think I had been exposed to leadership so much in my career. But in the opposite way, in the tone of sales. I failed at sales. I sucked at sales because I was always afraid of that no. I'm building this thing to meet people's needs, and I want to make everybody happy with what I'm building. And it took me years and years and years of discovering, like, not everybody wants to buy your shit, Ree.
Right. I get it.
Some people do, some people don't. Actually, during our launch party, I wish you would have been here, but I'm sad you missed it. But you were celebrating your mom's 80th birthday. No big deal.
It was, not at all.
But during our toast and our speeches and stuff, Brian and I reflected on, like old memories of building the business and stuff. And there was this one memory I brought up that now Jason still gives me shit on, is that me and my old business partner, Leah, we knew, we had been coached, we had been told we had to make sales calls. We had to make, those cold calls, and we had prepared to the point of preparing to avoid, right? And so we were preparing, and we marked it on the calendar. This day, we're actually going to sit down and we're going to make those cold calls. So we sit down at our desks and we look at each other and we look at the phone and we look at each other, and Leah looks at me. She's like, you want to take a shot?
That's great. Yes. Yeah.
I know. I said the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Brilliant.
Why
idea.
not? Liquid courage goes a long way.
So we took shots of vodka for every phone call we made.
How was the 10th phone call?
We didn't make it that far.
Okay.
I think like by 4, we're like, so we have HR services. HR, like
we
really?
do HR good.
Right. Show me yours.
Oh yeah, then I'll show you mine. Oh my, that's a marketing concept right there.
Yeah,
I like this.
So yeah, but I think it was always the avoidance of putting myself out there in kind of that sales platform. And a lot of it was just fear of rejection and this baby that I had built and made. And I didn't want anybody to tell my baby no or hurt my baby or turn my baby away.
Special.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was my fear. Very similar, but kind of in a different tone.
I can understand. And I can sell water to a drowning man. Like sales is not my problem. My problem is keeping you around. Like I'm so scared that people are going to leave. Yeah, that's probably a bigger conversation than just that. But I understand that. I see that. And I think I just wanted to please everybody so much that they'd never leave me.
Yeah.
And that's not realistic because people grow and their needs change. And you have to be able to let that go so you can accept somebody else.
Yeah. You always got me, girl.
Thank Samesies.
Good.
Aw.
Can't shake me.
Oh.
We'll hug later.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awkward with microphones and
Yeah.
you know
just start
cameras.
getting- yeah.
Oh, man.
Thing.
I think my biggest fear, very similar. I think we all have these fears in business and in leadership, but for me, it was listening to my intuition and trusting what I knew to be true, and then having to fight those battles with either other leaders or having that get expressed or having the confidence to like make the move based on what my intuition was telling me. And having kind of been told so often, like, well, how do you know that? And that sense of like, I don't have a lot of data. I don't have like the normal thing to back it up, to like give you some sense of confidence that what I know is right, but I know it. And I've seen the pattern enough in my life that when I know it, I know it. And learning how to then just communicate it and then let it go and not be attached. So like when I was doing in one business, I've done a lot of like coaching work and coming alongside people and observing things in their worlds and in their businesses and in their lives. And sometimes part of that coaching work is having enough confidence to tell the truth and to like call out the thing and to be able to have enough confidence that what you see and what your intuition's telling you is worthy of being said, even if it's a little bit hard to say it. And there was so long in my life I couldn't get across that threshold, and that limited my ability to lead because I wasn't speaking the truth. And especially when you're working with someone who's paying you to tell them the truth, that was part of what helped me get over the fear was, somebody's actually going to give me money so that I can tell them the truth.
Right.
Like, well, shit, I
Wouldn't that
better
be
tell them the truth then. Like, here we go. Let's see how this works. And then after enough times of some repetition of realizing, I'm pretty good. Like, I'm pretty on point here in whatever that is. And then also learning when I'm not on point to just shut up.
Yeah.
And to say, I don't really have clarity there right now. So that's okay too. But that fear of putting yourself out there and saying the hard thing was a big one for me in my journey as a leader to kind of work through and get over.
You know, isn't it interesting how we're all conditioned to not trust ourselves, to not trust our instincts? Like, Jason, you probably have some of the most spot on instincts I know of any human. You have like this honing radar, like beep, 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 beep. Yes.
I like this for you. This is good.
It is really good. You should get him in a room. He might scare you.
Well, we're in a room right now.
It's true.
Just saying.
No, like one-on-one.
Right.
But but we're all conditioned in some way. Like, I think even going back to grade school.
Oh, totally.
Right? Like, I remember in grade school, I would talk to my teacher and be like, well, I think that the answer is this. And the teacher would be like, well, where is that in the textbook? And I'd be like, I don't really know, but I think the answer is that. And the teacher would bicker with me about, well, where did you find it? And ultimately, I was fucking right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was right. And I'm like, why did you make me go through all of that if I instinctually knew? Like, why wasn't I harnessed and molded into trusting myself and my gut? Oftentimes I think, a lot of us are similar to you in the fact that our intuition is right on, but we've been so conditioned to not trust it. But then, you take it one step further and say, okay, not only do I trust my instincts and my intuition, but now because of that, I'm empowered and trusted to say the tough stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Say what is reality and put it on the table and embrace the messiness and say, let's see what comes of that.
Yeah.
I think that's the powerful part of that intuition too, because it's not all rainbows and butterflies.
No.
I ask myself often, what if the problem is actually the solution? What if the fact that we are a little quirky, crazy, overly vulnerable is actually the right thing? What if maybe the mess is exactly the way it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
I always, like you said something about, we were going through the management 101 training with you earlier today, and something in the nature of, can you just redelegate or adjust with what you already have without having to create a brand new position? That's what I try to think of things. What if this is the way it's supposed to be? And I'm just trying to compare myself to something that is totally different, and it's not even, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
So always think about what you have. Maybe what you have is perfect. Maybe your gut instinct is perfect.
And to that point, what you were talking about earlier, of personal work and that personal growth of realizing sometimes where you can get into stories where if you're playing the victim or you're playing in these archetypes that really aren't serving you and your intuition's coming through that, often it's going to get really weird. That's where your manipulation can come through and all sorts of different stuff. And we see that, and we can see that sometimes in our leaders when we call out, we see bad leadership or whatever. It's like, well, that was my intuition. And it's like, well, yeah, but it was also a story. And learning that discernment of like, how do you really lean into your intuition and done enough personal growth to then not be bogged down by some story that's not serving you, or maybe anchored in some sort of victimhood mentality or something that's not really speaking to your core self. It's a distraction. And I think that's part of the hard parts about intuition is learning how to kind of discern those things and peel it apart and say, where is this intuition coming from? Is it a story that I've been telling myself, or is it actually something that's coming through that feels more in tune with who I am? And that's a process in of itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Constant growth.
Constant
Yeah.
growth.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that has to be a thing. The only person who's going to be with you for your entire life is yourself. You have to learn to trust yourself and forgive yourself
And love yourself.
and love yourself. Absolutely. Unconditionally.
Yeah.
All the different
absolutely.
pieces and parts.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we are us.
Yeah.
So-
Pretty lucky to be us.
Tell us about Kaaum. How can people get involved?
Oh,
What
goodness.
are you guys doing?
Well, we're growing. We're at least we're trying to grow. This particular time with Medicaid is obviously, I'm sure if anybody is keeping up with different political changes, it's kind of volatile. Things are changing with Medicaid. We've got a decrease in federal funding for certain waiver programs. So that means the state has to make up the deficit, which is understandable. We want to keep people in services, people happy, healthy. But as Rhiannon and I have talked before, Medicaid has decades worth of manipulation in a negative way. People have been on Medicaid that shouldn't be. There hasn't been enough checks and balances. And they're definitely working hard to eliminate the fraud and the waste. And I think that's very important. We're here now. We're just trying to keep things going. I am so proud to say that we've added on more programs. We're doing supported employment. We have day program. We've got, of course, our residential. And a residential is a very broad category because we can do anything between like somebody's living independently in their own apartment and we're coming in according to whatever their supervision needs or help needs, whether it's for cleaning or taking to doctor's appointments or problem solving. Talking about sexual health, that's a thing. Cooking, whatever the needs are, to families that are taking care of their children and their adults, and their adult children, whether they're minors or adults, and helping them, ensuring that they have the tools and the resources needed. Host homes, which is a beautiful thing. It's layman's terms, we can call it like adult foster care. So essentially it'd be like you guys taking in somebody you're not related to that lives with you, rents a room out of the house, and you're giving them that support, which is what my son is in currently. It's a great program. We are expanding in Grand Junction, Adams County, Boulder County, gracious, Alamosa. I mean, we're all over the state. And just to watch that growth, because there's such a need for people who genuinely care and want to be involved in someone's life and give back to these precious, precious, wonderful humans that we've been blessed with.
Love that.
Do you know how wonderful this population is that I serve? It is so incredible. If you stink, they tell you you stink. If you don't, if you're beautiful, they're going to tell you that, but they mean it.
Yeah.
There's very little subterfuge. There's very little there's manipulation. Everybody learns to manipulate, I think, at a very early age.
Yeah.
But
Human nature.
They're going to tell you when they love you. And when they love you, they actually do. They're not trying to get anything more out of you than your love. That's kind of great. Like, how many people can we say in our lives truly say that and do that for us?
If only the general population could embrace that a little bit more.
And they get a good excuse to yell and scream in the middle of
Yes.
the store. Are you kidding? You know how many times I would love to just start screaming and cursing at everybody that I see, just because I feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
When I see my son do that, it's like, it's hard for me not to giggle. I'm like, yes, good for you.
Good job.
You go,
Good
boy.
for you. Oh, goodness. And he's got this thing. I just have to tell the story. He loves to watch the show Cops. And he will script. So in scripting, he's going to like repeat things that he has retained in his mind out loud. There's not like this filter where he just won't say it in certain. He was with his provider at a local credit union. And he's not a quiet child or like 21-year-old. And he's like, get on your knees.
Oh, no. At the credit union.
At the credit union. It was amazing. It was amazing. Whole place went into lockdown mode. This
Oh
is
my
like
goodness.
1 or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was, of course she was mortified. I'm dying laughing when
Right.
she's telling me the story. Like, I wish you could have recorded that. That is so great.
Could we have set that into Cops?
No.
That's
That would have been wonderful. It's things like that. I mean, like, how many of us have just had those intrusive thoughts where we just want to do something crazy?
Yeah.
I remember being little, and I was raised Southern Baptist, and I would fantasize in church about running down the aisle during the middle of whatever sermon was going on, just like just being weird.
Yeah.
Of course, I never did it, but my son
You
would
should've.
have. And I would have applauded. I would have been like, that is amazing.
You created the child to be
I
your
did.
outlet.
Yeah, he's my little spirit animal.
Exactly.
I'm like, go do it.
So people want to learn more, website they can go to. Where can they?
Kaaum Enterprises.com. It's so very, very confusing because Kaaum is pronounced in a million different ways. I've heard it all, but it's Kaaum as in Mary. That M didn't come out very well, and then Enterprise is spelled out.
Perfect.
.com.
We'll put that in
COM.
the show notes so people can link through to it and
link
stuff.
down
but
below.
Yeah.
Great.
Absolutely. Are there any particular needs that you guys have right now?
Yes.
Hiring, volunteering, participating within your community. What kind of call to action can we throw out to our community for you?
I need volunteer opportunities for my day program. I
Yeah?
really, really, really do. I mean, anything.
Yeah.
We have all kinds of people that really enjoy getting out there and volunteering. I think giving back to the community is super, super important. I want our guys to have that fulfillment, that feeling of giving back to people that that they're going to be possibly connecting with in the future. Free activities, inexpensive activities, anything that you and I would enjoy doing, they're going to enjoy doing. Most of the time, these day programs are going to run during daytime hours. So anything that's during the day, if you need help with something, or if you have a museum or you have a shop and you want to show them how you make something, that would be so big if people could just reach out and say, hey, I've got an idea. We are also doing supported employment, which is a pretty great program with a whole lot of tax credits if you hire somebody that qualifies as far as the IDD community. And I think that would be something too. Like, to contact us about if you're interested in having somebody to create a job or being flexible enough to have a job that somebody with a disability can be involved with. And also, we need providers. We need people that are going to be loving and accepting and want somebody in their home that they can include and be inclusive of in their family. Family caregivers, that's definitely a specialty of ours too. We love family caregivers because we want somebody to be there. And if we can support the family that's taking care of their child or their adult, I mean, we need it. And then we also have another big need. I've always got needs. We always have needs. We have houses. We have rotating staff in some of our houses with our more behaviorally challenged individuals. Goodness, we're looking for at least 3 people right now, all kinds of different shifts. So we have the applications on our site, on our website. Come in. We're happy to help. We want to employ people because we want people that truly care. Now, we do run background checks. The state is very particular about who can and who cannot care for people. So
As they should be.
As they should be, and very important. So you have to have a fairly clean background check, but we can be fairly forgiving on some things. But for the most part, you got to be a decent citizen.
Clean record.
It doesn't have to be like, you're stellar. You just have to be kind of fairly decent.
Good person,
you
though.
just got to be good.
You gotta be a good person.
Just be a good person, please.
Like, well, decent is too low of a bar.
Decent is too low of a bar? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
good
Better than
human.
decent.
Yeah.
A
no
better
math
human?
houses. Yeah, it's just a
Please,
good.
yeah,
no more
let's
math
avoid the
houses.
math.
Yeah. Perfect.
That's kind of a thing.
Well, okay. All of you business owners, I challenge you right now because that is who we're talking to, business owners. Business owners, if you have actually, I'm thinking of a couple clients we can reach out to who have a facility who can offer a daytime activity, a program,
yes.
an event. You know who you are. I'm thinking about you. You're probably going to get a call from me. Open up your arms to this great community and invite them in. And not to mention, I mean, this is great marketing and advertising for businesses too.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I have actually seen the assisted employment services in action, not in just even from Kaaum, but just like from this type of program alone. And it's amazing what this program does because, I mean, you have the job coach who coaches the individual through like getting the job, but it doesn't stop there. It actually coaches them through having the job, coaches them on showing up on time if they have an interpersonal personality issue within, you know,
Manage it through.
yeah, they'll manage them through. They'll help them train and understand their tasks and help them practice. I mean, it's pretty impressive what they do for this program. So if you're interested and you have have an opening, get in touch with Rebecca. It's a great opportunity. And those tax credits are spectacular. They're huge. Like it will shave a huge amount of money off of your payroll, which is really sexy.
Huge. It is a very, very big one. And we try to be very creative with how we do the support employment. I think one of the models that I've seen work the best so far is when we have, let's say we have a restaurant, for example, and you have somebody who's actively working at the restaurant right now. Well, we can get them trained and we can pay them to help the person that has the diagnosis work there. So you don't even have to have somebody who doesn't know the industry. We can utilize somebody that the business already has.
Yeah.
If that's helpful to them, I think that's great. And sometimes that makes more sense because maybe I don't know how to cook tortillas. I don't know how to cook tortillas. That's something I should probably learn. But, things like that. Just somebody that knows the job already, and we can help with that too, if that's a better idea for them, so they don't have to add on another human that knows nothing. Yeah. Because that was the thing. When I first learned the supported employment part of the field, I was like, well, how would the job coach know how to cook the tortillas?
Yeah. That's a good point. I never really thought about that, but yeah, you're right.
I would rather have your person be paid who knows already how to do the job and work with them. So not only am I helping your employee out, and that also helps with longevity and them staying with that. I can talk, I promise. Right now I'm just like blah, 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 blah. But I think we know where I'm going.
Yes, that's great.
We can be flexible.
I didn't realize you could do that.
We can do all kinds of things.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. Okay, we're going to go ahead and land this plane.
There we go. Let's
right.
do it.
Land the plane.
Right. Well, thank
you.
Rebecca.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
This was a great conversation.
It was a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to part 2.
Please.
Yes.
Let's get weirder.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
This
all
is
for
just
it.
the beginning.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Again, heed my challenge. I challenge each and every single one of you. You'll probably see information in our newsletter as well. So, Rihanna, Jason, we're here. Show me yours with Rebecca Moore.
And I'll show you mine.
Yeah, you
Did I
just
say
did.
that out loud? I'm sorry.
You just did.
You just did.
Actually, did you know all of our guests get a Polaroid? And on the back it says, I showed mine on Show Me Yours.
I want this.
You're
okay.
getting it.
You're about
Yay.
to.
You're about to. All right, guys. Okay, I really have to wrap up. We'll see you later. Here's next time. Peace out.